Yo! We all remember our first competition really well. And for me, there's one thing I'll never forget. I was just a little boy. And I thought it would be a great idea to film myself, you know, in order to do a bit of flexing with my cubing skills afterwards. So I put my phone there with the front-facing camera filming me. No, just so I could see if all of me was in the frame, you know. And suddenly a dude ran up to me. And he was clearly furious. He smashed my phone on the ground and yelled, "You cannot film with your screen facing you!" Me, super scared, crying on the inside, did the worst solve ever afterwards. Wait, let me quickly check. I think it was even a 2x2 solve. Oh yeah, the time was 10.66, so it was a horrible solve. But I never really understood why we couldn't film with the screen facing us. So this weekend I thought, why not go through all the WCA regulations to see what other stuff I could find in there. And oh boy, did I find some things. So let me go over some of the WCA regulations I think are remarkable. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Questionable? Notable? Anyways, rules that made me go, what? So, going through the WCA regulations, one thing became clear immediately. Delegates are almighty. And it makes sense, that's why they're there, right? To run the competition. But let me give some rules where their power becomes questionable. At the discretion of the WCA delegate, a competitor may be disqualified from any event if the competitor behaves in a way that is unlawful, violent, indecent. Makes sense. But just imagine you got yourself a new PB and the first thing that comes to mind to scream is, "Yeah, PB!" Did you just say the F word? Disqualified. Oh, this one is really interesting. Every competitor must be available for judging. If required to judge, a competitor may be excused only for a legitimate reason. At the discretion of the WCA delegate, penalty disqualification from the competition. You know the moment during a competition where they call for judges and no one responds, right? Next time you better run to the judging table or you will get disqualified. This fun. Competitors must be present and ready to compete when they are called to compete for an attempt. Makes sense, right? Yo, Milan, are you ready to compete?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me quickly grab my cube.
Not ready? Disqualified. And right now you're thinking, yeah, but these scenarios will never happen, right? That's not fair at all. But listen to this. The competitor must accept all rulings of the WCA delegate. Penalty, disqualification. So don't argue with your delegate. If he hates you, you're screwed. But if you're friends with your delegate, the competition can be quite a party. Competitors may use non-electric aids that do not give an unfair advantage at the discretion of the WCA delegate. Food and drinks. A judge may judge multiple competitors simultaneously at the discretion of the WCA delegate. How does that work? Like, how can you judge multiple people at once? Like, you say, oh, 8 seconds to Lucas, 8 seconds to Philip, 8 seconds to... I don't know how that works. WCA. Competitors must represent a country of which they hold citizenship. Also WCA. Competitors who have no citizenship may compete as stateless. Can someone explain how this works? Because it sounds like a contradiction. Oh, now I found the asshole rule that ruined my first competition. Competitors may use cameras, blah blah blah. Each camera monitor must be blank or out of sight of the competitor. I guess this rule makes sense. But be honest, like, how is it an advantage to see yourself in your screen? You can see like the backside of your cube, but wouldn't it be better to just quickly rotate instead of looking in your monitor for the... I don't get it. I don't get it. Any modification to a puzzle that results in poor performance by a competitor are not grounds for additional attempts. Yeah, duh. What do you expect? Like, you put some sand in your cube, it's a modification, and then you're like, oh, this doesn't turn well, can I get a new attempt? No, of course you cannot. What? Doesn't make sense. Why is it in there? Puzzles are permitted to have reasonable wear at the discretion of the WCA delegate. Once again, if your delegate doesn't like you, he will always pick your puzzle and be like, oh, too much wear, disqualified. If an incident occurs, blah 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 blah, the competitor must appeal verbally or in writing to the judge. Verbally or in writing. What does that mean, writing? How does that work? Let's say the fire alarm went off and you want an extra attempt. Makes sense, right? You're distracted, you want an extra attempt, the fire alarm. But how are you going to write your delegate? Dearest delegate, can I get an extra attempt, please? Sincerely, CubeHead. If the puzzle is unsolvable and can be made solvable by rotating a single corner piece, the competitor may correct the corner piece by twisting it in place without it. You know, this one, it's about solving corner twists. If you twist a corner of your cube, it gets unsolvable. You know that, right? I shouldn't explain this to you. Well, this rule states that you can only do this if your cube is unsolvable. Yeah, why else would you do a corner twist? Well, that was my initial thought. Like, why would you do a corner twist if it doesn't help you? But the other day, a friend of mine sent me a video of this kit with a unique turning style. Or should I say a unique twisting style. So yeah, kids, don't do that. You will get disqualified. Here's my favorite. So it's about specifications for scrambles, right? So for 2x2, the scramble must take at least 4 moves to solve. Makes sense. First cube, 7 moves. For square 1, 11 moves. Okay. No. For 5x5, 6x6, 7x7, Mega Minx, at least 2 moves? Like, can someone please explain this to me? How does that work? 2 moves? Huh. Delegate? Yeah, what's up? I think something went wrong. It's only 2 moves to be solved. Did you do the right scramble? Yeah, I did the scramble. Well, then there's no problem, right? But wait, that's not fair. Also, you don't agree with me? Disqualified. Oh, this one. When the judge believes the competitor is ready, the judge asks, ready. I love how it's in capital. Now I imagine you don't just say, ready? You say, ready! Are you ready? Also, I love how you have to respond within 1 minute. Just imagine like ignoring your judge for 1 minute. He asks like, are you ready? And you're like, for 1 minute straight, and then you get disqualified. I don't know. It was funny in my head, okay? But this one as well, like I didn't know, like if the puzzle is solved, you have to say, okay. No, I'm sorry. You have to say, okay! Penalty. Like, actually, I once saw a video of Felix Semnek. I think he got a +2 on a 2x2 scramble. I don't remember. So Felix got a +2 and the judge was like, penalty. I thought it was so hilarious. Like, I thought, like, why would he say penalty? But apparently he was just doing his job, so. Oh no, these are my favorites. Let's talk about +2s. At the end of the inspection, the competitor places the puzzle on the mat, blah, blah, blah. Penalty for placing it outside of the mat, +2 seconds. Why would you place your cube outside of the mat? How does that give an advantage? Why would you do that? Like, why does this rule exist? The competitor must have no physical contact with the puzzle while starting. How can you have physical contact when your fingers are on the timer? Oh, and the best one of all, time penalties for stopping the solve are cumulative, that word. You know what it means, right? Like, you can have multiple +2s and they add up. So you can actually have more than +2. I've never seen that happen, you know? I've never seen a +4 or +6 or something like that. But my good friend Bruno, he sent me this video the other day of this dude who got a +6. It makes me wonder what the biggest penalty is you can have. Actually, let's figure it out together, right? Okay, so if 1 move is required, +2. You know, it's the normal +2, right? Yeah, outside of the mat, +2. Yeah, pawns must be facing down. No physical contact. The competitor must start the solve within 15 seconds. So we know that when they say 12 seconds, you really have to start. Because if you get to 15 seconds, it will be +2. If you're over 17 seconds, it will be DNF. Keep that in mind. The competitor must fully release the puzzle using both hands. After releasing the puzzle, they must not... Oh yeah, you cannot touch your cube afterwards. Like, you stop the timer. Like, if you want to see if you have a +2 and you have like 45 degrees like this, right? You cannot touch your cube. So just make sure that if that happens to you in a competition, you're like, oh, let me check. That's a +2 if you hold it. Okay, so don't touch your cube after you finish your solve. So that totals +16. Let's try to simulate a +16. Okay, so first try, that's 1, that's 2, physical contact, that's 3. Now we have to wait 15 seconds. Stop using my head, holding the cube, and then touching it. That's +16. The first one who actually manages to get a +16 in competition, I swear to God, I will give you a free cube. But you probably get disqualified for this because you cannot intentionally make your solves worse, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's finish this video with a question. What is the weirdest thing that happened to you in competition? Like, it could be anything. It's some event that happened to you, to a friend. to anyone and you're like, what the hell? Share it with me in the comments and I might do a part 2 of this where I include some of your comments. So yeah, hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.